Yeah, the generic answer I feel like I've given for 8 years is continue what I believe and what we've always believed is, do you reach your full potential within the football season? And I think every year in the setting of the season defines that. We really like our football team. I think I've seen this football team grow immensely, as much as any group we've been around, and probably because a lot of the youth that we've had. Obviously, we've gotten some adversity along the way already, and this group's ability to kind of unify and grow together. And so I think till you get out under those lights, until you play the sport of football, you just don't know what you have until you get out there and see it. But the foundation, the roots of this group, it's really special, and so it's going to be really fun to watch.
How do you reach your full potential while also you've got a great couple of recruiting classes coming in already?
Mm-hmm.
How do you mix your expectations for your season plus preparing for the years beyond, the seasons beyond?
Well, I think, what's funny about football is you only get 12 guaranteed opportunities to play. And I think football is especially college football, is such a unique sport. There's no preseason games like the National Football League. We're not like basketball where you get 35, 40 games. You're not baseball where you get 60 games in college baseball. But in college football, you work all year round for 12 guaranteed opportunities to play the sport of football. And, I think we take every one of them. We don't look beyond. We look, at the moment and being ready to seize the moment and seize the opportunities at hand. And yes, there may be youth on our football team, but we've been young here before. And, I think one of the things that I really like about this team is there is great veteran leadership. I think when you look at our senior class, every senior plays for us. They have a significant role on this football team. 15 seniors that all touch the field, that all have a role that defines winning and losing, and I think that's really important. I think that's really positive. When we've had that, it's been very positive. And then a great influx of really talented young football players. And, I think what I love is it's created great competition. Everybody want to know who's starting there or who's starting here. As I told our team, my expectation is we're going to play a lot of guys early in this football season because you still don't know until you get out into the game and play. And that means you got to earn the right on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday to be the guy that gets in the game, whether it's at the beginning of the game or the most critical moment of the game for the teams to have success. So, to me, it's enjoyable to be at this stage because you got really good players. Your growth potential daily and weekly is phenomenal, and I think that piece of it, you take that, you enjoy the process of getting better every day. And I think, as I've said for 7 years, it is a process, and you have to enjoy that process of what it takes to get better day in and day out and try to reach your full potential. And I think there's years we've done a phenomenal job of that, and there's years we've fallen short. So you take those lessons and grow forward.
If this team maxes out like you think it can, does that end up in the postseason?
Well, yeah, you would hope so. I mean, those are the expectations that we have in our football program, to win every game we play and to have the opportunity to compete at the end of the season, to be in championship-type environments. So I think those haven't faded from year 1 to year 8. And, I think our coaching staff and the leaders in this program have the same expectation every game and certainly every season we go into.
What are you doing at quarterback?
Yeah, I think that'll be, throughout the week, we'll probably help decide that. I would expect that you're going to see certainly both Rocco and JJ and maybe even some opportunities for Tanner in this football game. I think all 3 guys have had really good camps. They've grown forward. Would I feel like any one has separated themselves from the other? I would say probably right now, no. But I think one of the things that if you asked our kids in our locker room, our kids have elite belief in what's going on at quarterback, and I think we all do too. So I think no different than I would say every other of those positions. Man, what's it look like on Saturday? What's the game day feel like and look like? But, I think we're really excited about what that group looks like. Practice will continue. We already had Tuesday practice, which was great. I thought both guys had a really good day. What's Wednesday, Thursday look like? Then define exactly how we'll try to execute the quarterback position throughout the game on Saturday.
Do Rocco and JJ, do they have their own set packages, or is it you're going to run them in and out?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing about both those guys. You don't have to change. I think both guys have mobility. Both guys can make all the throws, and certainly both guys have great leadership ability. And, I would kind of go back to what I said at the beginning of fall camp. What we're looking for the quarterback position to start things off is, number one, lead the football team first. Number two, take care of the football, and then obviously number three, execute the operation of the offensive side of the football. So, what's been fun is to watch those guys really grow over camp. I think Coach Yilhouse has done a great job with that group, and I really think that group's grown immensely, maybe as much as anybody since where they were at the start of the summer to where they are now.
And field goal kicker.
Yeah, I think field goal kicker, I think probably, we're in the same boat. Chase Contreras has really done a great job. I think he's probably separated himself a little bit. Will be the starter at that, to start the season. It's been a great competition. Jace Gilbert, will still be involved in our kicking plans. But I'm really excited about what Contreras has done. I think his consistency, game experience. Now there's a guy that's probably had game experience. He's had in-game experience. He's got a really talented leg and probably brought a veteranness to that group that, we just probably haven't seen in a while. So it's been really good to have him here, and I think he's made everybody better in that special teams room for sure.
Hey, Matt, we've heard a lot about, Jaden and Jalen really since the spring. What did a couple players at the wideout position, such as Karan and specifically Aiden Bitter as well, do well in fall camp to kind of put them within the two deep right now?
Well, that group's going to be really interesting. I think that, the two guys at the top have been phenomenal. And then I think what you've seen is some guys really start to take steps forward. I think the guy that I would first talk about in that group is Daniel Jackson. Daniel's played a lot of football here. As a true freshman, was playing on a really good football team in 2020 until he hurt his foot. 21, he's back. He's playing a lot of football. He hurt his shoulder. And so Daniel, has been one of those guys that we thought had elite traits and elite ability, but it's been a really hard road. I mean, a lot of injury. He dealt with a really hard injury his junior year of high school football that limited him his senior year. So Daniel's a guy that I think has really come on and done a great job. I go talk about Greg Gaines. I think Greg, freshman, I thought, and Greg would tell you, I thought his spring was okay, and I thought really what he did in going back to work in the summer to get himself ready to go for the season was really awesome. He's a big physical presence, a guy that I think can certainly has had a really good camp. I think will do a great job. You talk about Karan. Karan missed almost the entire year last year with a hamstring injury. It was devastating. And again, Karan can run. He's got elite speed. He's got the ability to do a lot of things with the ball in his hands. And so I think one of the core values of who plays is, can you make a big play? Can you do something special with the ball in your hands? And he certainly can. And then you tie it up with like Aiden Bitter. And, Aiden is a guy that, you talk about that play a year ago at Iowa. He's in for two plays and makes that incredible play that was a game changer. And I feel like Aiden's always been the guy. He's going to be where he needs to be, and he's going to make the play. And I think he's proven to be trusted in our program. And he's continuing to work on his body. He continues to do all the little things right. Will be great for us in a multitude of different ways. So I think those guys have brought consistency to their game. And that's obviously what you're looking for in fall camp, and we'll be looking for early in the part of the season to see who gets the majority of those snaps as the games continue on.
Hi, Matt. Just a couple questions from me. How has the offensive line room continued to evolve as Coach Clanton preaches to them violence, not perfection? Both Brant and Jared on Media Day were just raving about just the feeling that they have in that room.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing that they've helped themselves out with, and this is probably a credit to a multitude of different people, the biggest thing is they're physically a different organization. They're a different group. And, I think that a lot of credit has to go to Coach Keggy. I think what him and his team have done, I know on the start of the season I talked about weight gain, right? Mass gain and strength gain. When you play offensive line, there has to be a sense of confidence. And I think when you have a guy that like Jared Hufford that's back and he's up 20 pounds and, you know, man, he's a 600 pound plus squatter and a 320 pound plus hang clean and, you know, over 400 pound in the bench, that gives you real confidence to go and execute and play the game you need to play. And so I think the growth there has certainly been great. And I give Ryan a lot of credit too. You know, I know he has been a big part of that. He's a huge believer in the physical development, and I think he's helped push that as well. So I think physical development has helped those guys. Games are going to come. We know this. Man, that group, we want to see that group take another really positive step forward. I think we got a lot of really good pieces there to execute the growth process of that line. But now they're going to have to earn the right to go into those games and play the way that, you know, they prepared themselves to be able to go and play. So I think I'm probably as excited to watch where that group has grown and see where that group is as any group on our team.
And then Joey Peterson, how is he a Peterson?
Yeah, another one.
At the same time, being his own guy, what qualities does he bring at the Leo position?
Well, I joke with Joey. If I had to hang out with a Peterson, I'd hang out with Joey. All right, and you know, Zach was like, man, I didn't even want to talk to Zach. You didn't know if he was going to say hi to you or like try to bump you into the wall. And Zach was a great player, and Zach's, you know, Mr. Peterson's a great guy. You know, he's fun to hang out with. But Joey is his own entity. You know, Joey is different as a football player and really different as a human, but they've got the same core values. They love Iowa State. They're really proud to play at this program and in this football program. The foundation of attitude and effort, what we want to stand for, they exude it in everything they do from the classroom to the football field. But I think Joey's difference is Joey is a really good athlete. You know, I'll never forget going to watch Joey in wrestling and him in the wrestling room and him in the weight room and watching him and how he moved. It was completely different than Zach. You know, Zach was like the Incredible Hulk sometimes, where Joey's got some of those elite strength ability, but he's a really natural mover. He's a, you know, just he moves different, plays different. I think he's also got the ability to create a pass rush and has proven to do that at a really positive rate. And you know, I think Joey, just even his style, I mean, you know, he's a guy that you'll see playing on special teams for us because he's such a talented athlete. You know, he's such a guy that can really run and strike in some positive ways. So we're expecting, obviously, big things from Joey. I think Zach's obviously laid a great foundation for Joey to have success, and certainly that family, what they've done for our football program has been nothing short of incredible. So we appreciate them all, but Joey's certainly different.
Hey, Matt. What kind of growth have you seen from, you know, Rocco and JJ during their respective time on campus, and how has that impacted the quarterback competition and the growth of the offense in general?
Yeah, you know, I think both the qualities that I love about those two guys, and really I think we'd be dismissive if we didn't talk a little bit about Tanner as well, just because, you know, Tanner has done a really good job as well. But I think all three of those guys, the first quality that I do appreciate is they know who they are as humans. You know, I think at the quarterback spot, you know, this ability to, know thyself, right? Like it's critical because good things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen, and it's almost this ability to recenter yourself really fast. That's where success can happen. And I think both of those guys have shown the ability to really grow in that way. I think that they come from a great foundation of that, but their ability as, you know, really even since the summer, as these guys have really started to kind of ramp up their reps and their opportunities to grow forward, you know, I think what both of them have possessed is this ability to have resiliency in the moment, to fail, and yet have the humility to fail forward and learn from it and grow from it and not make the same mistake twice. And, you know, again, that'll be another big measuring stick as we get into game day. What's that look like? You know, will it be perfect? It won't be. It won't be for either of them. But their ability to recenter themselves and play the next snap, because when the ball's in your hand, I think that ability to be resilient and be able to play the next play, I think that's a special trait. And I think both of those guys have really grown in that. And I think my guess is they'll grow as the season goes, because it's easy to replicate that sometimes, but that's hard to replicate it on game day. And I think they'll all grow forward in that area.
Coach, this will be your defense's first time going up against Theo Day at UNI. What do you see out of him and the offense that they're going to bring to that try Saturday?
Well, Theo, you just got a lot of respect for. Obviously, I've watched now enough of his videotape to just really understand and appreciate what his talent level is. Big, great vision, ability to make all the throws. He's kind of got that, that great whip on the ball where his ability to make the throw and not hold on to the football. I think you can see him as the season went on last year really grow in confidence in the offensive scheme. To really know where he's going with the football with great consistency. So, I think for us it presents a great challenge right out the gate. One of the better quarterbacks that I've seen in a while, and reminds me of some of those really great Oklahoma State quarterbacks at times that we played that are big and have great vision and can spread the ball all over. And I think then you couple that with some really great playmakers, guys that can make plays with the ball. I think they can really run, which is super impressive. I mean, their group, guys that can really run. If you look at their track times from high school, it shows up on the videotape, and then it's real, when you go really dig on it. So it'll be a good challenge for us, and obviously they can spread the ball and make you pay really fast.
A couple of freshmen on your two deep for linebacker. What are those guys going to bring, and what are just your feelings about being that young at that position?
Well, yeah, again, I think you got such a great mix there. You're talking about probably the oldest guy on the team in Gary, and then, you got a young puppy in Jack, who's going to get the opportunity to run on that field and make a big difference. And, again, I would just say they've earned the right to be where they are right now on the depth chart, and Jack especially. I mean, you came out of spring ball and you were just probably as impressed of anybody of, man, this young guy, the ability to step in. And the last time that's happened here was Mike Rose, and I think Mike and Jack have some very similar characteristics, both highly intelligent. Jack was a 4.0 student his first semester here. Both very football savvy. Mike a little different because Mike played kind of safety to linebacker, but man, Jack played linebacker in a really great high school program. And so I think it helped him accelerate himself. And then you talk about the youth across the board. I think last year, as tough as it was to lose Reeder at times, it forced McLaughlin, it forced Carson to have to play. And, as tough as that was at times for us a year ago, I think where the benefit we're gaining is, man, those guys, you saw those guys, like they already know how to do fall camp. They already know how to prepare for a game. They know, man, what it's like to line up against some of these people and be ready to roll. And, at times they were and at times they weren't a year ago. But I think it helped them really have a great offseason and really prepare for their moment and opportunity come this fall.
That's some high praise for Sadowski. I mean, when you look at him, when you compare him to Mike without him even asking,
yeah,
you project him out as being an impactful.
I think time will tell. I think what you're hoping for, and at least what you see, is some of the foundational traits of love football, study the game. I think it's really hard to earn real confidence at this level as a freshman, especially in football. Basketball's a little different because you're playing AAU and you're playing against 21, 22, 23-year-olds, but football is a different animal. And, I give Gary, I give some of those veterans, even, Willich and some of those guys, I think they've taken Jack under his wings and really kind of helped Jacob Ellis. Those guys have really helped kind of groom each other. And I do think that's what that linebacker room's got. They got Coach Veit does a great job with those guys. I mean, they've got a great family atmosphere, and I think we're going to play a lot of guys at linebacker. There's still a lot of competition there of exactly who by midseason will be the one and playing in the critical moments. But I think that group's really talented. I think that group's had a really, really good fall camp, and I'm excited to watch all those guys play. But when you talk about Jack, I give a lot of credit to the rest of those guys.
You talked a little bit about the quarterback position, how that might sort itself out on Saturday. You've got 5 guys on the or line at running back now. I mean, is it going to be a lot to have 5 guys play running back Saturday? Or, I mean, how's that kind of sorting itself out?
Yeah, it is a lot, to be honest with you. I don't know how it's going to sort out. I think it's going to be – I think you'll watch it as I watch it, to be honest with you. I mean, you're going to have to earn the right to get the ball, and you're going to have to earn the right to stay in the football game. And these guys, to me, it's not 1 ounce of a negative. It's a huge positive. I think these guys have really had a good fall camp. There's a lot of talent in there, more than we've had at one place at one time since I've been here. And again, when the lights come on and the moments come, who's going to be the guy that's going to make the play, and that's not just the 20-yard run. That's the 3rd and 1 who's going to stick their foot in the ground and get a first down. Who's going to be the guy on the goal line that's going to stick their foot in and score when it matters the most? Who's going to take care of the football? And all that stuff's easy to say right now, but when it gets hot and heavy, who's going to be the guy? What I would say is they've all deserved the right to be on that sheet. We're fortunate to have some veteran guys there that have at least felt the moment before. But you got some talent here that stepped into the competition in fall camp, and what they've done is they've raised the level. So it's going to be really interesting to watch, to be honest.
With one of the youngest, if not the youngest team you've had, how do you maintain your patience?
Yeah.
How do you corral that?
Yeah, I just think for us, Randy, you fall back on, here's what it looks like for us. What's it look like when you play good football here? And I think you guys could write that. Well, they play with great attitude, play with great effort. They take care of the football, and they win in the margins. They don't do things to beat themselves. And I think you continue to pound away at those things, and you can't have patience for the fundamentals, for the detail that it takes to be successful. But obviously you have to have patience with the result. And, it's easy to say it, really hard to do it. But I think that's one of the really benefits, and because there's going to be mistakes. Nobody's going to be perfect. This is the college football. You watch it last Saturday. I was showing clips to our kids on Sunday. Like, you watch the NFL preseason games, and it looks pretty nice. It looks good. You enjoy watching it. You watch college football on Saturday, you're like, holy smokes, this is bad football. And it is. You're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. It's a game of imperfection. And I think you strain to practice the right way with the right intent and the right intensity to prepare your guys to not beat yourself in those moments. And so I think we'll be relentless in our approach and the how we do things. I think we'll be patient in terms of the outcomes of the who and the what, but continue to be relentless on the process.
You kind of going off of that, a lot of these guys talked about Modita, I don't really know how you say it. Can you talk a little bit about that and the impact you've seen it have on these guys?
Yeah, again, part of our team book this past year, and our speaker that came to talk to us this summer, I thought a phenomenal term that really has resonated, and it's just to have the joy for other success. What does make football really hard, our sport? You have 18-year-old young people that come, and they were the superstars. Every kid on our team was the best player in their high school football program. And then you get to college, and there's a bunch of best players, and they're all really good. And now you're competing to get on the field, but yet when you get to game day, you have to be a team. You can't be a bunch of individuals. And, there'll be guys that are going to be frustrated on Saturday because they're going to want more reps. There's only 11 guys that can play on each side of the ball. But yet, in the moment, through the game, do you, number one, have enough humility to understand maybe why you're not getting enough reps and be willing to work forward and grow forward? And that's our job as coaches, to provide that platform and plan. And then equally, can you have enough humility about yourself to have joy for others' success? Can we be a great team? Can you love on your brother? Can you love on the guys that are out there playing? And can we be a great team? And it's easy to say it. It's really hard to do it. Really, real challenge. But I think our kids have really adapted to it. The leadership of our group, I think, really adapted to it. And again, when we've been at our best, I feel like it's resonated through our hallways, both from coaching staff all the way down to player. And probably when we haven't been at our best, we maybe have been fractured in that area a little bit. So part of the journey in college athletics and part of the journey of building a football team, in my opinion.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.